Okay, right. Today we're going to talk about why Mitt Romney's plan, you see, this plan that he's unveiled, to send every American adult $1,000 during the coronavirus outbreak, and why this plan won't work. It simply won't work because problems cannot be solved by the government just simply writing everybody a check. Why won't these problems be solved? It's Economics 101, and a lot of people simply don't understand. They think the solution to problems is that simple, that you can just give money to every single citizen and that will solve the problem. If only life were that easy. I think we can look at the case of Zimbabwe, the case where an African dictator, Robert Mugabe, tried to do something similar, and it led to such degrees of inflation that you literally had millionaire children walking around with wheelbarrows full of cash. And the bread prices were astronomical, like $1 million for the price of bread, right? I don't know, I saw something to be more accurate, is something like $340 for a sheet of tissue paper, right? So why won't it work to just give every American adult $1,000 check? We got this coronavirus outbreak, they say, and so because of it, they're shutting down economies all over the world, which actually is likely to cause a much greater problem than the problem itself, which is the spread of this virus, which is mostly threatening only to the elderly community and those with weak immunities, right? But because of this, they're shutting down entire economies. So in comes government with a solution. We're just going to pay everybody $1,000 check. And it simply won't work. Well, why won't it work, you say? Well, like I said, if only problems were that simple to solve, why not make people millionaires? Well, I'll tell you why. We can't just give everybody $1 million and solve problems. Because ultimately, the more of something, the less its value. Let's use another commodity to illustrate this example, right? Okay, so let's say that you have oil, for example. Well, if everybody went into their backyard and suddenly discovered oil, then would the price of a gallon of gasoline still remain the same? If everybody could go into their backyard and discover oil, would it still cost the same amount when you go to the filling station to fill up your tank? Of course not. Because why would a person be willing to pay something like $40 to fill their tank if oil was so plentiful that it was just like water? Water, you go to your kitchen sink. Well, what if there was an oil tap in your backyard and you could fill your tank that way? Obviously, you're not going to go to the filling station and pay $40. The reason that you'll go to the filling station and pay $40 to fill your tank is because oil is a scarce commodity. Okay. Same thing with dollars. The government doesn't actually produce its own money. They can only use the money that's out there. Money doesn't grow on trees. Something that your mother should have taught you when you were a child. Money doesn't grow on trees, right? Okay, so if money doesn't grow on trees, then where did that money suddenly come from? We've been hearing for years that the American government is broke, so now how are they suddenly producing $1,000 for 400 million citizens, right? It's because they're creating money that they don't even have. So you're proliferating the populace with fiat currency. So now the money becomes less valuable. Another way that you might be able to contextualize this is baseball cards. Remember what used to make those baseball trading cards valuable when you were a kid? They were valuable if they were rare cards. But if they were cards that everybody had and were found in all your friends' decks, then they were no longer valuable. We also see this with precious gems, such as gold. And gold used to be used as a currency throughout the world. Well, the reason that gold was able to be used as a currency was because it was a rare and precious commodity. You would have to go digging for it, and even if you go digging for it, you might not even find it. But now we're using money as currency instead of gold. Well, money can ultimately be produced by the government at any time. They can just put money into a computer and create money. They can print it off the printing press. But when that is done, it will then lower the value of the money. So when you go to use your money and you think it has value, when you go to spend it at your local gas station or thrift store, you suddenly find that it doesn't have the value that it had before. If we were to give every single American $1 million, then when you went to the gas station, the price of milk would simply grow to astronomical heights. You'd be paying $1,000 for milk. Not because the milk became more expensive, but because the value of your dollar became less valuable. Okay? So again, that's why this plan simply will not work. And ultimately, people are just going to have to go back to work. Or they're going to have to stay in if they're afraid of contracting the virus. But we can't allow, we're going to end up with a bigger problem, and Americans are going to be starving if they're not allowed to work and not allowed to earn a living income. And that's going to be a more serious problem than that of the coronavirus. Okay? Thank you.